savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur.
Test.
Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur.
Okey, hai, selamat pagi semua. Bersama lagi dengan saya, Yana. Okey, hari ini kita punya event adalah untuk brand Elle Vire. Brand apa? Elle Vire. Okey, mungkin ramai yang tak kenal lagi dengan brand ni. Tapi mana-mana brand ni selalu memang ada jual barang ni. Produk ni adalah daripada Normandy, Perancis. Brand pertama Perancis yang berada dalam 10 jenama yang popular. Brand ni memang saya dah pernah guna untuk buat biskut. Memang sangat-sangat sedap. Terasa lemak dia, susu dia, dan dia dihasilkan daripada lembutan susu yang berkualiti. Kenapa saya cakap macam tu? Sebab dekat Perancis, dia punya lembutan susu tu dia berada dalam satu padang yang luas dan besar. Dia menghasilkan rumput yang berkualiti. So iklim dia pun yang sederhana, tanah subur, cahaya matahari yang baik, persekitaran yang selesa. Jadi dia boleh menghasilkan rumput yang berkhasiat. Lembu pun makan makanan yang berkhasiat. So lembu tenusu tu semua boleh menghasilkan susu yang baik, susu yang berkualiti. Jadi rujuk sejarah dia lah, 70 tahun yang lepas, pada Disember 1945, seorang petani ni dia mengumpulkan 17 petani. Dia buat produk-produk susu, whipping cream, semua daripada daripada lembu tenusu yang makan makanan sihat. So sekarang ni Elle Vire adalah menguasai satu-satu brand yang menguasai satu dunia. Memang harga dia ni memang sangat mungkin bagi kita ni adalah harga terlalu mahal. 500 gram berharga sekarang ni untuk promo 500 gram berharga RM29.90. Sebelum ni harga dia RM31.90. Kenapa saya galakkan you all bakers untuk guna ni? Sebab dia punya rasa dengan premium, sangat sedap. Lepas tu saya nak bagi tahu, hari ni banyak promosi, kita akan bagi tahu untuk next session. Saya nak bagi tahu sesiapa yang datang walk in hari ini ke HOI. Kita ada 2 sesi, pukul 10 hingga pukul 12 dan pukul 2 hingga pukul 4. Walk in dekat HOI, daftar, register kat kita. Kita akan bagi the gift ni, butter cookies premium daripada kita guna Elle Vire. So siapa nak dapatkan, datang HOI untuk dapatkan free the gift ni, butter cookies yang sangat-sangat premium, sedap. Lagi satu sesi lagi pukul 2 hingga pukul 4. Kalau ada masa boleh datang untuk hari ni lah. Sebelum saya serahkan kepada chef, sementara kita tunggu untuk audiens penuhkan kerusi. Stay tune, jangan ke mana-mana, dan saya minta yang ada dalam live ni tolong follow, like dan share kita punya page House of Ingredient untuk dapatkan informasi yang terkini dan untuk dapatkan ilmu yang chef kita share. Sebabnya Setiap food tape kita adalah berbeza brand, berbeza brand, berbeza ilmu, berbeza chef, blend lain. So banyak ilmu yang kita akan share. Stay tune, tunggu sampai habis. Okay?
Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur.
Hello， 大家好，欢迎你们来到我们这个 HOI 原料之街的现场直播。我们今天我是婷婷，我们今天的主打是 Elle Vire 这个品牌产品，它是来自法国的一个国家。它的品牌这边呢，它是刚刚我们这边你们有看到，他们有介绍的这个 Elle Vire 的这个产品的乳牛，它吃的东西，吃的草。是来自很丰盛的，它的天气、气候、它的泥土、它的水量，就是比较有丰富的那个营养和矿物质，所以变成它就牛奶吃得好，它产生的那个牛奶就比较有高质香滑，所以就产出了我们这个现在今天这个的 Elle Vire 的这个牌子。所以牌子我们这边有它的牛油。它的牛油，所以有salted，然后还有它的那个 whipping cream， 就是动物鲜奶油，这些都是来自法国的。OK， 所以今天我们这个 event 呢，我们也是一样是10点到5点，所以我们有2个的课程。现在这个是早上的课程，是10点到12点。所以你们有来到现场的话呢，我们今天会有送到这个一罐。是一罐这个 Elle Vire 的这个 Q 纯的那个牛油做出来的这个饼干，是给你们的 door gift 的，所以有来到的顾客我们都会送你们一个。然后呢，我们还会有老师教我们2个 session 的这个课程，是做一个 Crème brûlée， 还有一个那个Sable 那个饼干。所以如果顾客你们有来到现场，你们可以尝试到它的那个用全部的这个牛油的那个口感的味道。如果没有来到没关系，你们可以先点一个赞和分享。你们分享出去过后，你们再 PM 我们，就是私聊我们就会分享那个老师今天做的那个食谱给你们，所以你们也可以在家里面尝试做和品尝它的那个牛油哦。记得点赞和分享，然后私聊我们，你们就可以得到我们的 recipe。过后你们要怎样知道买？好像比如你不方便今天来到，你不方便来到这边，你可以去我们的 hoibaking.com 里面，你可以在那边购买，所以你就可以拿到 recipe 和你可以购买到我们的产品哦。OK， 所以老师的时间差不多，我先交回去给他先。等下我再次分享给你们，我们今天这个产品有什么的优惠，有什么的 offer， 等下我会再介绍给你们哦。好的，别走开，记得点赞和分享哦，拿 recipe， 然后我们先把这个时间交回给老师啦，我们待会见，别走开哦。
Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur. Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur.
How are we today? Everybody already tried the food over on that side?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a couple of products that we've done there are all made from Elle Vire products. So what are we focusing on? Well, anything that is cream related, we're using the Excellence, and anything of the butter, we're using the butter over there, which comes in rolls and also comes in a bigger block. So a little bit about myself. My name is Arief. I am based in Malaysia. Like as Mr. Jonathan have said, I worked everywhere, here and there, but I am predominantly a pastry chef. And also I've taught here and there as well. So any questions at all, ada apa-apa soalan, memang tolong tanya je. Please ask. I welcome them. So what we want to focus on today is we are going to focus on the products itself, which is the Elle Vire products. So why so much emphasis on this? Kenapa kita kena tekankan sangat kepada produk yang bagus? It's very simple. If the product is very good on its own, you don't need to do much. It's like an example. Anybody here eat durians? I'm sure everybody does, right? The Musang King is good, yes? You don't mix it with anything else, right? You just have it on its own. Something like this. So if something is very superior in product, we don't need to manipulate it too much. So that way we can keep the taste, and of course I'm sure most of you are business people as well. You can sell the brand with you. Meaning when you market your products, French butter, you can hike up the price a bit. This is how it works. If you market your products as French cream, people will already have the perception of something that is very nice. It's just like this. Because of course we're doing products based on European stuff, but I'm sure in time you guys can manipulate whatever you want to do with it. So what are we doing today? Well, basically we're going to do three things. I'm just going to show three things, but we're going to have two end products. One of the things that I'm going to start off with is I'm going to start with the sablé. The sablé, as you can see, if you have already downloaded the QR, it just looks exactly like this. And if some of you are fortunate enough, and if you're not sure how it tastes like, you just go next door, have one. I recommend them. We made them ourselves actually. Alright, so it's here, right? There you go. So alright, and the next one we're going to focus on, we're going to focus on the crème brûlée. Can you get me the box of crème brûlée? Oh, yes, sorry. This is the product. According to Jonathan, it's going to come out next week on the shelves here at HOI. A little bit about my relationship with HOI as well. I am a small business person myself, so we buy a lot of things from HOI as well. So the service is good, and they have most things. So everything that we do and we use here, I think HOI has it too. So like the materials, the rings and all that. If you have any questions, I'll tell you exactly where I got it and where to get it here. And I'm pretty sure if you can see, we have a lot of nice people in their hoibaking.com t-shirt that can come and tell you where exactly everything is, okay? So without further ado, we can start, yes? Yes. Thank you. Alright, so let's start. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the sablé. What is a sablé? Sablé is French word. It just means sandy. It's a texture actually. So if you have the sugar on the side, it's called diamond or diamonds basically. So what are the products? We have the flour, low protein flour or all purpose flour is fine. Oh, sorry, handwriting. All purpose flour or low protein is fine. Please do not use bread flour, because bread flour it makes things a bit more elastic, so when you bake them there's a high chance that it might shrink. So a lower protein flour, this doesn't happen. We have the icing sugar. Any kind of icing sugar will do. Icing sugar. Please don't use snow powder. Not the same thing. Snow powder has a higher percentage of starch inside. It's used for decorative purposes only. So if you have unfortunate experiences, if someone does a lot of snow powder on something, it tastes very dusty inside your mouth. So icing sugar, all right, or the Americans call it powdered sugar, same thing. And then we have the Elle Vire unsalted butter. If someone can pass me that, there you go. Thank you. So this is how it looks like. Right. This one is 500 gram rolls. They also have a bigger size, if I'm not mistaken, 2.5 kilos.
Yes.
And 5 kilos. Alright, so they have the unsalted and the salted. Alright, so that's the butter that I'm using today. As you can see as well, the butter that we use is a bit pale. It's not so yellow compared to the competitive brands. Why is this? It's because, like Jonathan mentioned, the cows eat different things. So, yes? Hydrogenated vegetable fat. No. This is butter, comes from the cow. The hydrogenated vegetable fat comes from the palm. So basically the hydrogen makes it cool faster. So it's a fat, yes, but it's not like this. This is comes from the cow, so it's churned. In anything, it's natural. So this is the butter. It's a bit pale. So like I was saying, the cows in New Zealand, they eat different kind of grass. So butters from New Zealand tend to be a bit more yellowish in tint. The cows in France, they eat different grass, so the butter seems to be a bit more lighter. So is it a major factor? I would like to say depends on preference. Right? Personally, I am French trained, so I like to use a lot of French products. Not just because I think they are very, very superior. It's because it's something I'm very familiar with. So if some of you say, hey, look, I like to use New Zealand butter because it's good, I would highly advise you to try out the French butters. It might change your mind. All right? So that's why, like I said, this is a bit more pale. Okay, next thing we do, we have the icing sugar, and the last thing is the salt. Okay, in your recipe it says salt. You can use iodized salt, or you can use fleur de sel, or you can use sel de garon, whichever you want. That one is the sea salt flakes from Maldon. You can use that too. Iodized salt tends to be slightly saltier than sea salt. So I would use it with caution. So if the recipe says 10 grams using sea salt, you might want to do like maybe 8 grams using iodized salt. Alright, so we have all that. So now, what do I do? This is a beater bowl. Right, I'm using the paddle. If you are not fortunate enough to have a mixer machine and you want to use it at home, how do you do it? Not a problem. You invest yourself in a scraper, so you just do like this. Fine, can do at home, no issues. So what we're going to do now, we're going to do something called the rubbing in method. So the rubbing in method is, you can see the recipe says rub flour, butter until you cannot feel the butter with your fingers. Okay, right, so you take the flour, you get a sharper scissors. The red one is sharper. Okay, you get a sharper scissors. Okay, some people ask me, chef, do I sieve the flour? Do I sieve? Do I not sieve? Does it make a difference? Well, I would usually sieve the flour, especially if the flour is old. Why? Well, you know the flour termites, those little things, they are already in the flour, the eggs. So the longer the flour, they will turn into the insect. Especially with our country, with the high humidity level, it provides a very conducive environment for the termites to grow. So as a prerequisite, I usually sieve all of my dry products. Does it make a difference? Does it make, say for example, does it make the flour become lighter or airy? I've heard this. Yes? How do you know whether the flour is old or not? Well, usually the manufacturers, they won't say, but you can't really tell. That's why I say you sieve. Does it have an expiry date? I don't think so. I never seen this on a flour bag before, but usually I would sieve them for this purpose. Okay, so as you sieve the flour, does it make it any airier? I don't know. Some people say when you sieve the flour, you incorporate air inside. I don't know. I don't think so. But if you practice that, that's up to you. So the sieving of the flour is purely done because you just don't want any kind of sediment inside. That's all. So what is rubbing in the method? So rubbing method means you are coating the fat with the flour. Why do we do this? The reason we do this is because after that we can shape the dough. It can be pliable. There's two ways to do this. The other way is you whip up. If you're doing a recipe with eggs, you whip up the eggs and then you put the flour in or the butter in. There's another method, but I don't practice that. I practice this one because it's easier to do. So here we go. We sieve the flour and then we rub it in. If you notice, the recipe does not have any eggs inside. So I would say but it has butter though, so it's not vegetarian. I mean, it's not vegan, but it can be vegetarian if people consume butter. But if they don't consume eggs, then there you go. It's a vegetarian product. Right. After I sieve that, I will add the butter. If you're making a very, very big recipe, I would cut the butter into smaller cubes. Why? Friction. So the longer the thing stays inside the bowl with the mixer, the warmer it's going to get. So if it's very warm, especially if you work in a condition where it's warm, it's going to melt and then it's going to seep out and then your dough is going to become oily. You don't want this. You want everything to be emulsified properly. Right, so butter in, flour in, looks like this. Okay, right. So butter in, flour in, paddle in. Alright. If you don't have a paddle, you just chop it until it coats together. How is it going to look like? Well, I have my very beautiful machine over here. Put it in. Oopsie. Good, right? Okay, so we start slow. Oh, it's not focused anywhere, right? Okay, after this I'm gonna just show it how it's done. So basically the butter is gonna paddle with that and it's gonna look something like Parmesan cheese. And then after that, if the butter is a bit more warm, it's just gonna become one thing. Alright, so if someone asks me, Chef, can I use room temperature instead of cold to make tarts? Cold. But if you want it to make like something really, really urgently fast, you can use a soft butter, but I don't really recommend that because it can get really oily really quickly. So as I'm a bit more confident, I add a bit more speed, sorry. Right, so if you notice, I did not put any vanilla or any flavor whatsoever. Can you do that? Yes, you can. I would say the best things to put this is vanilla, yes. Or you can use sea salt, then you can call it sea salt cookies if you want. Or you can use the rind of the fruit. Like for example, something citrusy like oranges, lemon, lime, Buddha hand, limau kasturi, limau purut, whichever. So all you gotta do is take this and a grater and then you just grate it inside. That's all. How much depends on you. I would say 1 lemon for the recipe is plenty, or 1 orange, or 2 limes, or something like this. Right, as I go on, okay, what I'm going to show you is, if people can see, it looks like Parmesan cheese. Right. My kind assistant over here is gonna take some and just go walk around with it and show you. Yeah. All right, just go and show. Yeah. So basically, it's gonna look like that. It looks like Parmesan cheese. This is what we want actually. All right. And I don't advise you to do this now, but if you hold it, it's still quite cool. We want that. We want to maintain the chill part of it. Right? So, after that it's done, we're going to put in the salt and the icing sugar, which we must sieve as well. So everybody saw? Great. Right, any questions at all? No? 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 Right. Hah? Nak pakai, nak pakai. Right, thank you. Okay, so everybody saw, that's the texture. Now you add the icing sugar. And you add the salt. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to continue mixing until it becomes a dough. Okay. If the textures are the same, it doesn't take a long time to get this happening. Right. So I'm just gonna speed it up a bit. So I'm gonna warm it up a bit more. Finally, it's gonna become a dough. So, any questions? No? Anything to share? Any experiences? No? Never mind? Yes? You? Saya sagat, yes, saya pakai ni. Perah lemon. Oh, okay. Right, okay, I am. Okay, I understand. So basically his question was, when do we use the rind, when do we use the juice, right? And it's also like, how do I get that and why? First things first, the lemon skin has the essential oils on it. So the smell of the lemon comes from the skin. And all of the other essential oils, like the ones you use for those diffuser thingies, right? They comes from the essential oil. So I use the skin when I want the flavor to come out, because let's face it, in your mouth you only have 4 or 5: sweet, sour, salty, bitter and umami. 5. Other things you can't tell. The only way you can tell is when you smell something. That's why when you're sick you can't taste food. So the case is, you want something that smells strong. you only get that from the lemon rind, not from the juice. Okay? How much? Depends on you. Like I mentioned just now, for this small recipe, 1 lemon or 1 lime, or 1 lemon or 1 orange is enough. But remember, we get our fruits from abroad. Malaysia does not plant lemons, so all of the fruits are already waxed lightly. They spray it with a bit of wax, so it can tahan when it comes here. So take hot water, put your lemon inside the hot water a bit, wipe it off, and then use the rind. That's how. Okay? So now, as I go on, does that answer your question? Okay. Right, so now as you can see, for a couple of seconds, it has already become a dough. My kind assistant is going to go around and show how the dough looks like. Okay? Thank you. This one you can touch a bit, no problem. Alright. I won't use that anymore. Right, so that's the dough. Alright? Dough. Okay. Right. It feels cold and it's pliable. If you can see, if I'm showing it to you right now, I can put my dent on my finger, I can turn it into a log, I can turn it into a round, whatever I want to do with it. That's what I use it for. Okay? So basically, now, for habit's sake, I will always do this thing. It's called sablage. So I take my palm and I will just crush it, just to make sure I don't have any lumps, like big lumps. For a small recipe, sometimes you don't need this, but I'm sure some of you have businesses, big businesses, and you use big mixer. You can't be sure that everything is mixed. That's why. Alright, so sometimes, especially nowadays, if you see those Korean businessmen that they put on the YouTube, they take like big dough and same thing. Right. Can I use the dough right away? Yes, you can, because the percentage of the fat, the percentage of the protein is very low. But I would always advise you to keep the dough inside the fridge for a while to rest. Why? The reason is because I want to be sure that all of the particles of the flour is fully coated and hydrated. That way, when you roll it out, it won't shrink. This is the only reason why. So that's why when you make all these cookies or all the tart shells, they say rest the dough in the fridge for 45 minutes. For this reason. If you roll it straight away, sometimes it will shrink. Alright? So now, how do we do the diamond? Very simple. I'm going to divide my dough into half. Right? So I take half. When do you put the lemon zest? The second part. Okay? So means like I put the flour and the butter to coat, and then before I put the icing sugar, I can put the lemon zest or the orange zest or the flavor compounds. Okay, if you have dry things you want to put inside, like for example, some businesses say they like to sell things like matcha or green tea. I would substitute a bit of the flour, maybe about 5% of the flour. So for example, it's 100 grams, then you use 5 grams. But it depends. So because I can't give you an exact number because we have different kind of strength of tea powder and all that. So you might want to try this at home. But I wouldn't add extra to that. I'll just take out a bit of the flour. Or cocoa powder, for example, I'll take out 10%. I'll change to cocoa powder, and I can make a chocolate sablé. Same. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a log. So there's two ways of doing the sablé. One, you roll it out and then you cut it. Two, you do this. Okay, you take the dough, you roll it into logs like that. Like this, log, Okay. And then you take a piece of paper, you put it like that, you do this, you take a ruler or a cake board or anything of that sort, you place it under, or if some of you have done Swiss rolls, I think, you're going to just press it in and pull the bottom. Press, pull the bottom, pull the bottom, pull the bottom, pull the bottom. And then you can see you get like a nice cylindrical shape. Like this. Like this. Okay, right. So, for people with big businesses, especially when I was working in the hotels, they give cookies for functions, they give cookies for amenities, means when you come back from your whatever, you get cookies. So they will make lots of logs like this, and then they will roll it out like that, and then they will keep it inside the freezer. When you need it, you defrost it a bit in the fridge the night before or something, and then you're going to slice it, and then you bake. So you have cookies on standby. You don't have to make this fresh all the time. How long can it last inside the freezer? A while. Maybe if it's in the freezer, yeah, not chiller, maybe about a month. If it's inside the chiller, not more than 3 or 4 days, depending on fluctuations. Why do I say depending on fluctuations? Because there's a very big difference between your house fridge like that and a 4-door fridge in the shop. What's the difference is, number one, the compressor is not the same. So in the house fridge, every time you open the fridge, you get hot air that goes inside. The temperature in your fridge will fluctuate. It won't be like 5 degrees total. It might be 5 degrees when you go to sleep until the next morning before someone opens the door. And especially if you overcrowd your fridge or freezer, the temperature is definitely not going to go there. So that's why I say depending on fluctuation. If your temperature is very constant, no problem for a month, 3 or 4 days inside the chiller. For this one, it's fine. Okay, clear. So for this one, once I'm done, I put it inside the fridge. Gula. Letak je. Right, any questions so far? No, yes, maybe? Please? Still no? Okay. No problem. I'm that clear? Alright, so as you can see, this was done, I think I did this 2 days ago. It's still okay. If it's inside the fridge, it's a bit harder, but it's not hard like rocks. So how do we get the diamond, the crust on the side? Very simple. Can you stand by me a baking tray with the, just take the bottom one and the thing. Alright, this is sugar. Alright, sugar. I buy from HOI. HOI. Alright. So what do we use it for? Right. Thank you so much. Okay. If your dough is very soft, you can't do this. That's why you put it inside the fridge. Okay? There's 2 ways to do it. Some people, they would brush it with egg whites. When you brush it with egg whites, you will get like what I have there, the buffet. It cracks on the side. You have that wood effect thing. Or if you don't want, you can just roll it direct. Also possible. So, okay, so for me, since you already saw that one, I'm not going to brush it with egg whites. I'm just going to roll it. This is normal caster sugar. Caster sugar. But I would highly advise for this, you use the big one. Why? Because it looks more nice. More like a diamond. Gula pasir yang kasar. Macam bahasa saya. Alright, so like this, we're gonna roll it like that. Just roll like this. Alright. So now it looks like it have a coat. Right? But ladies and gentlemen, please don't do this now and then put back in the fridge. Don't do this. If you do this, yes, the sugar is very hygroscopic. It is absorbing water. So then it'll become shiny only. So don't do that. So you roll nicely. If you have flavored sugar, lemon sugar, you know they sell these things, lemon sugar, raspberry sugar, whatever sugar, use that one, also can. But the problem is, I don't know whether those things are baked ready or not. You know, some sugar they say they have flavor, but when you put it inside the oven, bye bye flavor. So I don't know. So it up to you, you know. So that's why like some people tell me, hey chef, any particular brand of flavoring or compound flavoring that you use or not? I say I don't have any particular flavor or brand, but always check the label. Is it bake stable or not? If the flavor is not bake stable, it might be very smelling good now. You put inside the oven, bye bye flavor, then you waste your money. So you don't want this. Tak sebelah je. Right. For me, if you have the, you know, the croissant cutter, the thing, you can mark and then you can cut, or you can just cut. You know, you just go like that. So if you notice that when I'm cutting the dough, right, my dough doesn't break. If it's frozen and I put a lot of force, it breaks. If it's very soft, you can't cut it, it will be off shape. So that's why I want to like that, and, you know, do this. Alright, so very simple process. Okay, my kind assistant is going to arrange it. And then we are going to bake the thing. Right. Arrange it. Right. Any questions so far? Yes? No? Maybe? Alright. Okay. Yes. Ada soalan? Hello live. Apa soalannya? Chef,
if the fridge temperature doesn't stay constant,
what happened to the sablé? Well, okay, if the fridge temperature doesn't stay constant, what happens to sablé? Well, it will turn a bit darker. Like in Malay, we have this word. It's called kusam. It looks like that. It looks like it's no longer white. It looks like dark colored thing. Especially if you have dough which has baking powder or baking soda, it's going to turn matte looking. Does it affect the taste? No, it does not affect the taste. But what do we do? Well, basically, if you want to make sure this doesn't happen, you wrap nicely and you put it in the deepest place of your fridge. That's all. Does that answer the question? Great. Okay, so how do we bake this? This is the oven. You put inside the oven. How long do we bake it for? Well, depends. Some of you with this, yes? Soalan? Soalan okay, alright. Okay. Okay, berapa lama? Okay, I'm using a fan oven, yeah. This oven has a fan. Some of you with businesses, especially you have the deck oven. No fan. What's the temperature? If the fan oven, usually I would bake it at 175. But if a deck oven, I will bake it at 180. Why? Because of the fan. The fan will be expediting the process atau mempercepatkan proses pembakaran. You know, that is the difference lah. You know. So any recipe that you see, you look properly, because there's two kinds of recipes in the industry you can find. One is the professional recipe, one is the home cooked recipe. The professional recipe will tell you exactly fan oven, no fan oven, what temperature and how to adjust. But as a rule of thumb, sebagai Rule of thumb apa? Like a base rule is if your recipe says fan oven, the deck oven is always warmer by 5 degrees and it's always longer by 5 minutes. And if it's fan oven, it's the other way around. It's always shorter by 5 degrees and it will shorter by 5 minutes. But personally, I would say all the time, if the baking say about 15 minutes, I would put for 10 minutes first and then I have a look. Always like this. Always manage what you can control. So if you 5 minutes, you tengok, tak lagi, tambah lagi 5 minit. Tapi kalau dah burn, if it's already burn, then what's the point, right? Alright. So now I'm going to do the tart shell. Right. What is the tart shell? So basically, yep. Soalan. Masya Allah. Chef, what kind of exact timing once we put in the freezer? No exact timing. No 5 minutes, 10 minutes, nothing. I think when you put in the freezer means you can leave it for a couple of hours, it's fine. Okay, so this was the dough just now. Right, I rolled out. What I'm going to do, I'm going to roll into a tart shell. So we're going to make it into this. This is what we call a tart ring. Okay, as you can see, it has holes. My kind assistant is going to bring one and you can go around and see how it looks like. So this one is called a perforated tart ring. Why do I use this? Well, it has a better baking. Where can you get this? HOI sells it. Alright. Ada dua jenis. One is the China made one and the other one is the European made one. The price is about, the European one is much more expensive. Double the price of the China one. But as you can see, if you're holding it, the China one tends to, this thing after a couple time it hinges and then it cabut lah. The European one tahan lama sikit. Do I advocate European or China? I don't know. Jagalah elok-elok, like take care of it properly. Alright. So how do we do this? Very simple. So you get the dough, you take paper, and then my rolling pin is gone. Okay, it's over here. Alright, so you get the dough. If it's the dough from the fridge, because this one is my dough, so it's from the fridge, you want to like that, soften it a bit. The other way around. That's what you want to do. If it's very frozen, right, if it's very cold, the dough is going to crack. But that's not a problem. So you just need to warm it up. Okay, so for those of you who have never rolled anything in their life, you always have the problem. Sengit lah, tebal sikit lah. What do we do, right? Okay, I'll show you. I'll take a scratch dough, which is that one. Yeah. Okay, this is how you do rolling basically if you've never done rolling in your life, yeah? Okay, see the dough is round, right? Okay, very easy steps. Easy steps. Okay, first one. Take the dough, try to make it as square as possible. Alright. Try to make it as square as possible. Right. Then you press it, say for example about 1 inch or half an inch in thickness. Okay, once you get something like this, you get it square, you take your rolling pin, you mark the center, you press it down a bit like this, and then you go 2, 3, and then you turn it around, you do the same thing, 2, 3, and then you turn it around, you go center again, 2, 3, 4, you turn it around, 2, 3, 4, just like that. You get in between that. I haven't started rolling yet. As you can see, I'm just adding pressure. Why do I head towards me? If I go outside of me, I cannot control my weight. It'll be like this. It'll be thick or thin. So if I'm coming towards me, I can control it. So I go 1, 2, 3, and then if I want it bigger, I go in the center again. I just do that only. As you can see, I'm not really rolling anything yet, right? Just like that. So if it's off shape and then you want it nice, you can go here this way. Then you go that way and then you go the other side. See, it's very simple. Right, next. Once you get basically the shape that you want, you press the center and then you roll it towards you. 1, 2. And then you turn it around. 1, 2, and then you turn it around. 1, 2, 1, 2. So as you can see, that way you can manage your rolling. You're not like, why is it so heavy on the other side? Why is it thin? And then, okay, I would always say, roll it on something very flat. Like over here, I'm fortunate enough to have a marble slab. Marble is always flat. So that way, if you, sometimes the metal table, it bends. So you're going to have like something like this. So you don't want that. You want to have a marble that's flat. So you go do that. See, as I'm moving, I turn it around, I keep moving. Okay, so now I have something roughly what I want, right? But the top is still a bit like this. But the bottom is flat, no? So what do? I take another piece of paper, I place it on top, and I flip it over, and I pull. This part is flat. So this is how I move it around. Back and forth, just like that. And I'm not using a lot of force. Alright? Okay, finally, if you have a business and you want the same thickness all the time, and you don't have a dough sheeter, you don't have the machine, what do? You invest in acrylic sticks. So you put the acrylic. This one you can go to any acrylic maker, they also sell it. Unfortunately they don't have it here, but I'm sure in the future they will get the acrylic stick. This one is about 5 mm. In online they have 3 mm, 5 mm, 5 mm, 6 mm, 7 mm. So you just put like that. Then you put another piece of paper on top, just to be sure. Put your acrylic sticks on the side. And then just go 1. This one you tak payah takut lah. This one you want to go to the front also, it's okay because you have the sticks on the side. So I go do that, I come back, I adjust the stick, come back here, up, up, and I turn around. This part is the flat side. Same thing, I place the stick on the side. Okay, after this, my kind assistant is gonna go around and going to show you the result. Right. Okay, kind assistant, can you give me the wooden board there? Alright, go show. Right. Okay, so now as she's going around showing, you can see it's already nice, same everywhere. So again, ladies and gents, this one is acrylic, eh? Right, great. Thank you. Now I'm going to show you how to shape the tart. Okay, this was 10 minutes in the fan oven. 10 minutes fan oven. 175. 10 minutes. Okay, this I cannot hold because it's very hot. So I put here. Right. So now I'm going to show how to shape tarts. Right. Any question? Soalan? Tak ada? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, never mind. Semua dah pandai-pandai. Okay, so how do I do this? Right, this is a tart ring. Tart ring. Okay, tart ring is 8 cm diameter. We want to get the circumference and also the base. I'm showing you the modern way of how to shape tarts. Yeah? There's two ways. One way, the old way is you cut a big piece and then you do like this. Like that. That one requires a lot of practice lah. The precision is not exactly the same, especially if you're not very good at it. The modern way is different. We're going to cut two pieces. We're going to have a piece that goes around the circumference and one on the bottom. How do we do that? Very easy. So this is 8 cm, a bit of mathematics, sorry. To get a circumference of something, get the diameter times pi, which is 3.142. Right? Yes. So if you have something that is 10 cm, you times 3.142 lah. Then you get the circumference. Okay? Clear? Sorry, but that's how you do it. So right. Make sure you stand by your phone. Right, so 3.142 times 8 cm, it's about 25 centimeters. So it means if I have a strip that is 25 cm, it's enough for this. Okay? So, what do I do? You can do lah, the maths, no problem. Right. Tak lah. Okay. So as you can see now, what I do, I see about 25 cm give or take. Okay, I slice that way and round. I slice this way. Okay. Then I put another piece of paper on top. I flip it over. Okay camera focus. Alright. Apa? Oh, ada kat situ eh? Okay. So I take the big piece and I put inside like this. Like that. Okay. Just like that. You get? Okay. Right. Okay, usually I would do my tart shell a bit thinner, but the reason why it's easy for you to see lah. So as you can see, I'm just going around like this. So it touches the side. Right. Once that's done, okay, if there is a problem, I can just tampal over there, no problem. So remember, see, I'm using the inner part of my finger. Turn. Right. Once you get like that, you take a piece of, take a knife and then you cut it off. Right. Right. So now, as you can see, my tart shell, my kind assistant is going to go around because she likes to do this. Kind assistant. All right. It's going to show. I'm going to do another one. Just like that. All right. Okay, why do I use the perforated tart rings before I forget? Okay, anybody has done tarts before in a ring? Yes? Okay, the problem is every time when you do tart in a ring, you have to put a pemberat inside. Right? With the perforated tart ring, you don't need to do this. Masuk je. Can already. So, if you want nice perforated tart rings, please come to HOI. They sell them. Alright? Okay, I do another one. If you have problem, if it's a big piece, right? You have a problem, you break, you can also do something like this. You roll it out like that. Like that. Okay. And then you put this in the center like this, and then you unroll it. Also can. But if you have flour, you dust it a bit lah. Slowly. Okay. So you go to the side again, and then you trim. Alright, question, can we reuse the tart dough? Yes. How many times? 2-3 times can, but after that I don't advise. Why? Because it can shrink a bit. Okay. So now I already have the tart ring with the dough, right? I don't have the base. How do I do it? Very simple. I take the tart ring, the one that's nice, I place it near where I want it to be, then I press it down. Okay? And I press it down. That's all. If the dough is chilled enough, you can peel it off. No problem. You can go like this. But this dough is not very chilled. Okay? Very stressed. Okay? Like that. Or you can like remove it on the side, up to you. I will remove it lah for aesthetic purposes. Right. Okay. And then you chill it first, and then you bake it. What temperature? 180 degrees Celsius. 10 to 15 minutes, depends. If the bigger the tart, the thinner the tart. The bigger the tart, the longer, the thinner the tart, the shorter time. Okay? Clear? Like you see just now. Okay. My kind assistant is going to go around and going to show. Jangan makan dulu kat luar ada banyak. Right. Okay. So once that's done, you bake it lah. I'm not going to bake this because we have a time constraint a bit. I already have. Yeah. Okay, so if I want to remove it, I can remove it like this. But if it's cold, it's easier lah. Alright? Right. So now, any question? It smells nice, I know.
Chef, how many times can we reuse the dough?
Like I mentioned just now, we can use it about 3 times max lah. I wouldn't advise more than that. Why? It's going to become smaller and smaller. Is it very, very obvious? Not so much lah, but it will definitely shrink a bit. First to second time you can't tell the difference. First to third time you can tell the difference. It will be shrinking a bit more. So that's why. Before I finish this, that is also why I personally prefer square-looking things. Why? If you have a business, right? What's the #1 enemy? Wastage. That's your #1 enemy. You waste a lot of product, your food costs go high, and the product that you waste, you cannot do anything with it. It's gone. So you literally is throwing money. So why I like to do things that are square, because when you cut square, there's no wastage, or very little lah. You trim a bit here, you trim a bit here, and that's it. And square is easy for you to portion also. 1%, 2%, 3%. It's like this. That's why I personally prefer square things. Alright? For this reason, for costing. Anything that you throw, you really throw your money, you waste. You don't want this. You always want something that you can resell. Alright? Alright, okay, great. So now, that is done. I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to talk about the star of the show. What is the star of the show? My crème brûlée. Okay, this one is called the crème brûlée mixture from Elle Vire. Crème brûlée. Alright, thank you. What is so special about this? Do you know? No? Okay, this product is ready to use. Very simple. You warm it up, you pour it in anything. After a while, it will set. I will show you. After a while, it will set. When you do crème brûlée, okay, people like the crème brûlée. Crème brûlée. Crème brûlée. Why when you do crème brûlée, honestly, in Malaysia we like to eat crème caramel, right? Crème caramel. In Malay it's called puding gula hangus or something like this. Pudding caramel. I see a lot of business. What is the difference between crème caramel and crème brûlée? I will tell you now. Crème caramel uses whole eggs. The whole eggs. Crème brûlée uses only the egg yolks. Crème caramel uses milk. Crème brûlée uses cream. This is the difference. Alright? And cream caramel is inverted. Means you put the caramel first and then you invert it. And the cream caramel, most of the time when you go into it, you can take a chunk, like easy to cut. The crème brûlée, you take it out, it's a bit more creamy. That's why it's always served in a container. The cream caramel, you can like serve it on its own. Which one do I like? I like crème brûlée. Why? Because it's creamier and it gives a bit more, especially for business people. I'm sure some of you are. You want to market yourself as selling something a bit more premium. But the problem with crème brûlée is most of the time people cannot cook it properly. Why? They just overcook it or they undercook it. Right? But with the crème brûlée dessert mix from Elle Vire, no problem. Warm up, use. Texture is the same. If I'm not mistaken, the EV product or Elle Vire product in Malaysia also sells the crème brûlée already done in retail. I think they sell it in the dessert cups, right? Yeah. They also sell that. Pretty much, I think it's about the same thing. And those things are not cheap, right? So might as well you buy the big one and you make it yourself. All right. Okay, this one in Malaysia, in the Elle Vire range, there's two types. One is the one with the vanilla pods inside. One is the one without the vanilla pods. The difference is just that the vanilla. But then the vanilla pods, to me, honestly, I like the vanilla pods, but they haven't brought it in yet. But this one is just no vanilla pods lah. Right. How do we use this? Simple. I get a pot. Okay. I get a sharp pair of scissors.
So, who has made crème brûlée at home before? Anybody tried? So maybe chef will actually tell you that making a crème brûlée has many steps. Some might temper with milk into your egg mixture with sugar, and then you have to double boil it. If you have a steam oven, even better. Some of the even 3 Michelin stars pastry shops in France now steam bakes it rather than double boil and make it. Alright, maybe in Chinese we call it tan, or you call it pudding. But you have a lot of risks, whether if you're home based or even semi-professional, you have your own business. You have risk of overcooking it, undercooking it, and that is where you cannot get consistency.
Green tea powder. I mean the powder.
Hence, Elle Vire has this range of product. I would say semi-British product, which crème brûlée, tiramisu, with chocolate mousse. They have a few kinds. Okay, the one that we are promoting today is crème brûlée. Tiramisu yet to appear in this market, but maybe soon. Alright, and the crème brûlée has 2 SKUs. Alright, we have the one with the seeds inside and the one without the seeds inside. Both uses Madagascar bourbon vanilla. But because Asia market, there was some feedback to France saying that the seeds is not so visibly, attractive because there are little dots inside. Then again, of course, it comes back to our knowledge about how vanilla is, because we grew up using vanilla essence, vanilla imalco and stuff like that, but never really able to have the opportunity to use vanilla pods. So when you use the vanilla pods, when you scrape the seeds inside, you will see all the little dots. That is where you get the flavor from. So hence, for the Asian market, we have the product that is without the seeds. So it's pure yellow vanilla. So it has eggs inside, so pressurized eggs. You have the cream, you have dairy, you have some stabilizers. So instead of doing the traditional way of steam baking, double boiling it, all you need to do is put in a pot, you can heat it up on the stove, and then you heat it up to about 75 degrees to 82 degrees max. It's like just pasteurizing. Hence, it's very simple. You cut a lot of steps, a lot of manpower and time. All you need to do is heat it up in a pot, pour it into ramekins, or Chef Arief will show you that he's pouring into tartlet shells today to make like a crème brûlée tart, different take on it. So at the end of the day, it's a convenience product, and maybe some of you have tried in the chocolate tart as well, or some you tried in the aluminium foil with the caramel on top. Hence, very, very amazing product from France. And so Chef will continue with the demonstration on how to do it.
Okay, yes, thank you, Mr. Jonathan. Bourbon vanilla. Not bourbon the drink, different. Bourbon vanilla is the type of vanilla. There's all kinds of vanillas in this world. They use the bourbon vanilla. For me personally, I like it because the taste is, the smell is good, and it's not as spicy. There's Madagascar bourbon vanilla, there is Tahitian vanilla. So bourbon vanilla to me is what I will go to whenever I do certain products that does not require a slight aftertaste to it. So okay, now what do I do? First, I take crème brûlée mix, I pour inside. As you can see, it's like thick, right? I want to make it thin, like me. Right, so go like this, the whole thing can, or you can use the amount that you want. Right.
Just in addition to it, so you have 1 liter or 1 kilo in quantity. If you feel that the product is sweeter than your expectations or your preference, you can actually add another 10%, which is about 100 grams of cream into it, to lighten the flavor or to bring down the sweetness and also increase a little bit of your yield. But I wouldn't suggest that you go with water, definitely. You're gonna water it down. You may use milk, it will slightly lighten it, but if you want to increase the flavor and increase the dairy flavor, but not minusing out you don't want to minus out the dairy flavor, but you want to decrease the sugar intensity, then you add whipping cream into it, right? So it takes about 2 to 3 minutes to heat up, and today Chef is going to prepare something interesting, which is wine to showcase also the stability and what you can do with the mix itself.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, crème brûlée classically is vanilla tasting, yes? Yes.
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 All right. So, but then we can also diversify. Like for example, if you just sell crème brûlée, okay, I'll give you a business tip, right? Say the crème brûlée thing, it's very good. It's already, okay, everybody loves your crème brûlée. If you want to diversify it, you can flavor the crème brûlée as well. So for this one, I am flavoring it with the hojicha powder, bought in HOI. Household ingredients. Right? Thank you. Hojicha. Okay. Yeah, right. So for this, I'm using 20 grams of the hojicha powder. For those of you who's not very familiar with hojicha, what on earth is this? This is a roasted tea leaf, roasted green tea leaf. Hojicha. You can use green tea also, or you can use cinnamon if you want, but put a little bit. Cardamom is very popular now. It's coming back, you know. So saffron as well gives it a nice yellow color. Up to you. So you can diversify your portfolio. So you can have one base flavor, and then you can go like, oh, for this month only, we have the hojicha flavored crème brûlée from HOI. All right. Okay. Like personally, I really like shopping here. Yeah, I come here like every week. So I'm gonna warm it up.
Use Chef Arief then.
Use the QR code. Okay, so I'm using a spatula. I'm not using a whisk. Why? Because I don't want to aerate it. This thing has the thing that stabilizes it has two things. There's two types of gums. So if you keep whisking it, you might aerate it, and then you have bubbles on top. You don't want this. So you just use a spatula, is fine. Okay, remember, spatula is fine. Alright. So as I'm warming it up, my assistant is going to stir it. I am going to stand by the things. Okay, this one is called ramekin. Ramekin. They also sell this in HOI. This is a good product. Especially if you have a restaurant lah. This one can go inside the oven. If you want to bake other things like eggs, cocotte and all that, you can use this. It's fine. It's a very good product. Okay, as you can see now, these are the tart shells that I already have. If I'm not mistaken, they also sell it in HOI. Alright, so this is the tart shell. Okay, if you have a business that is the to-go business, means you take away, you can't ask them to take away this, right? I have just the solution to your problem. Next. Oh, it's over there. You can also use aluminium foil. Aluminium foil from HOI. Alright. So use all this at your disposal. Classically, if you ask me, French, in my heart of hearts, you use a slightly more shallow crème brûlée ramekin. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, I need to stress upon portion control. Why? For you who have businesses, you need to understand this very clearly. When I do things based on graph of satisfaction ataupun graph kepuasan. So how does it work? It's like that, right? A graph. This one means how much more satisfied you are. This one means how much more food that you take. So technically speaking, if you are very hungry, whatever you eat is nice. So your satiety level or your satisfactory level goes up, right? It goes up. So the more you eat, the more nice it is, right? As it goes up, it's going to come to a point where you're already full. When you're full, but there's still a lot of food on the plate, what do you feel? You're going to go like, oh, I don't want to waste, tak baik, berdosa. So like, you're like this, right? You hit a block, which is the most satisfied you are is here. But if there's still much more food, you're going to consume more. When you consume more, what's going to happen is you're going to start to find something wrong with it already. Actually, it's a bit salty. Because you're already full, you're already very satisfied. So now they keep feeding you, right? Oh, actually, it's a bit salty. Oh, actually, it's not that nice. And then it's just going to go down, right? When it goes down, what's going to happen is what I like to coin the term the buffet effect. If everybody has ate at the all-you-can-eat buffet, right? You can have the best dish of everything in the buffet, but because there's so much food, the most experience, the most feedback you get from a buffet is, so how was the experience? Okay lah. Even though it's really the best of everything. Why? Because you're already satisfied. And because you're paying a lot of money, you want to eat more. Right? When you eat more, you judge, and when you judge, your impression of the establishment goes down. That's why portion control is very important. I want you to hit right before, or you want to finish the dish right before you peak at your satisfactory level. That's why you cannot do something big. If it's something too small, you're going to say, it's expensive, tak puas. If it's something too big, you're going to say, oh, banyak sangat, jelak. So that's why I would always say, whenever you're doing desserts especially, don't make giant portion. Depends on your crowd. If it's young people, they can eat a lot, go ahead. If it's an older crowd, cut it down smaller. If you have an online business and you're like, oh, I had to order untuk ni, then you can ask for what party, how many people, and then they're going to go, oh yeah, this bunch of it's actually my father's friends and all, and then you can cater to that. That way you are a bit more sensitive as a business person, especially if you're tailor-make your products. So remember, portion control, very important. It could be to your advantage, but it could also be to your disadvantage. Make something that makes people come back for more, not make something that people go like, you know what, I already had it, I don't want to have it anymore. This is what we don't want. We want the customers to keep coming back. So how do we do that? One of the ways is portion control. This is extra advice. Thank you. I know, it's a bit much. Alright, so now, as you can see, after it's already very fluid, right? The hojicha, I put hot water just to dilute it. You cannot put it direct, or else you're gonna have lumps. Not me lah, my kind assistant and Mr. Jonathan over here. So I'm gonna take the hojicha. I'm gonna put inside. So if you have a big portion and you don't want it to have a problem, so you can take one part, put it in mix first like this, just to be safe. This is method is called tempering. Okay, like that. I'll bring it where the camera is. So I mix it first. Alright, and then I put it back inside. Boom. Sedapnya. Okay, after this what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it inside my tart shells and my crème brûlée, and also I am going to, my kind assistant is going to go around and let you smell the hojicha so you can come and buy it. Okay, so now I am mixing it. As you can see as well, is it focusing? Is it focusing? Focus? Oh wait, I bring to Facebook. Sedap. Alright, cool, great. So now, as you can see, it starts to melt. Nice. Okay, now I'm gonna have a jug. Oh, thank you. Okay, one more thing. If you have a big business, you buy this thing called a pistol. You like like that. It looks like a funnel, right? But if you don't, you have a jug. Don't fill until high. Okay, so you just take like this. You put in like maybe that much. Enough already first. And then you look. Can I have a tray? A tray, yeah. Right. Okay, so thank you. I put my tart shells here and my ramekin. Right, can we see? Facebook. Chun. Alright. Now I am going to pour it. I take the jug, I pour. Remember, do not fill it full. About this much or half is fine. So, and then you're gonna go like, stop. Then some of you gonna ask me this question, Chef, do I put it in the freezer or the fridge? Okay, the crème brûlée mixture is so good that even if you leave it outside, it will set. It will become hard. But not outside like outside lah, like outside in the room. Okay? No, outside. The car there, no, not there. Just outside. It will set. Especially if you work in a production kitchen, you have your own business. Your kitchen is big, and then you can leave it outside for a while. If you're not in a rush, it will set. Because I know sometimes, you have a very big, very big chiller, but then the chiller is filled with a lot of other things. So please remember, Elle Vire is here to assist you. To assist you by being a solution-based business. So before you have a problem, you already have a solution. The solution is this. Okay? I know. awesome, right, Olivier? Right. So now I fill it in. Okay, so my kind assistant is going to go around and entice you with the smell. Just bawa je. Smell it. This one I'm going to put inside the freezer. Alright. Okay, depending on how quickly do you need to use it, I would use it, if I want to use it straight away, like really, really urgently, I put it inside the freezer or the chiller. But for aesthetic sake, I'm putting it inside the freezer because I want the top surface to crystallize quickly. But I would say in the chiller, about half an hour should be okay already.
Yep.
Should be set already. Even from here, you can see, focus. The side is starting to jellify already. Can you see? Mana? Oh, sini. Oh, ui, See, it's starting to jellify already. Okay, Jun. Right. It smells good, right? Yeah, I know. Olivier. Alright, ladies and gents, I'm almost done. Now we're going to, yes, soalan. Okay, so it's 20 grams per box. Satu kotak 1 liter, 20 gram. But you warm up water and you mix until the hojicha is dissolved only. Hot water. Just a bit. Until the hojicha powder is
Just to melt. If you add inside, then it will become more lumpy.
because they're very fine and then it will start to set. So how I would do it, if you do a lot of green tea, then you can use the green tea whisk the also can. Okay, that's why I say it's about planning. So if you know you're going to do a certain amount, you don't heat up everything. Because if to make things, I don't advise that.
In a way, let's say if it's during operation, then you can reheat it because you set in a cool temperature. But if you just set in the fridge, then I won't
like take it out. But honestly, for me personally, if you have a business, you take your container and then you scale how much. Oh, one is 20 grams, for example, right? And for the day you need to make 10 only. Then you don't need to warm up a whole liter. You just take out 200 grams, you melt that, and then done like this. Then no waste. That's
if
open can you keep it plastic wrap, keep it nicely, not exposed lah. And in the box should be open about, if it's in the fridge, 3 to 7 days. If your fridge chiller. Alright, so now what am I going to do? I'm going to do the fun part, which is blowtorch. Right, ladies and gents. Okay, so I'm going to blowtorch my crème brûlée. First things first, what am I going to use? Sugar, right? Right. But white sugar, brown sugar, white sugar, right? Okay. Personally, I found that the preference of half and half between brown and white is the best. Why? Because the brown sugar will caramelize quickly, and the white sugar has a nicer crack because the brown sugar can be a bit more soft. So when you mix half and half, this is the best. Okay? So how do we do it? First things first. Okay. Make your sugar. Okay. Where can you get sugar? HOI. They sell a 1 kilo pack and they also sell 5 kilo pack. So yeah, you can get that. They have different kinds. So they have the fine sugar and they have the slightly more kasar one. They have that, right? I know. I buy from you. All right. Okay. So when you put something inside the fridge and you want to blow torch it, what happens is especially if your environment is warm, it's going to condensate. Ada air kat atas. This is not good for your burning. So if it has water on top, take a piece of tissue, dab it, and make sure it's dry. Very important, yeah. If it's wet, you're going to take a long time to burn it. Okay. Number 2. Stand by your blowtorch. Blowtorch. Yes. They do sell this. You sell this, right? Yes. They sell. So this is a normal butane gas blowtorch. They sell it in HOI, or you can get it in Mr. DIY also. I don't endorse Mr. DIY. I'm just saying. All right. Okay. So dry. Take some sugar. Put it like that. Shake it up a bit. Shake it. Shake it. Dump it back. So now the surface has a light coat of sugar. For me, I like to burn my crème brûlée twice. Okay, so and I warm it up. So fire. I go. So you get nice. Once the first part is done, first part done. Okay, you can see like this. Then I will put the second coating. For me, I prefer to put second coating. Why? The joys of eating a crème brûlée is when you take your spoon and clack. If it doesn't have that, forget about it. You know, you see the picture, got a sugar crystal on top. That's the beauty of this thing. Okay, so I would do it twice. So I take again, put again, go around, tip off. And then you're going to say, Chef, I punya business ada 400 biji. Takkan I nak buat all the time macam ni? I say, okay, fine, I setuju. Tapi all the time 400 keluar ke? Tak. Then burn as you go lah. You know, like macam tak payahlah buat semua 400 one shot. Oh, one more thing. Don't burn in too much in advance. If you burn too much in advance, what's going to happen is the crème brûlée sugar is not going to be crispy anymore. It's just going to be like gula hangus, like melted. Yeah. I think they have an expression in France where it's like as a crack of a crème brûlée, something like this. I don't know. Okay, so now what happens is you get your second coating of sugar, you let it set, and then voila, your crème brûlée is done. Right, so my kind assistant is going to go around later and show you this thing, and you can touch the surface of the crème brûlée sugar to see that it's hard or not. Before that, I'm going to check on my crème brûlée just now, the hojicha, and then I'm going to put, and then we see. Ah, look, almost set, but takes a bit more time. Just for camera's sake, I'm going to put here, and then you can see it's becoming a bit harder on the surface. Harder. Okay. Go around and show first. It's already setting. That was less than 5 minutes. Right. Okay. Right. So I'm almost wrapping up my demonstration for today. Do we have any questions? If you want to try the crème brûlée, what I'm going to do, I'm going to blow torch all of it, and then we're going to try. So remember, the ratio is 1 to 1. What's the time, Jonathan? 4 minutes. I got 4 minutes. Oh.
the brûlée part of it, crème brûlée. So brûlée is burnt. So crème brûlée means burnt cream. Alright, it's a very traditional, very classic French dessert. So as he's preparing, so I just want to go. I'll just go through a little bit of the products that we are focusing today. Alright. As you may see, that Elle Vire, which is available at HOI or HOI, we have the Excellence whipping cream. I'll just maybe I'll just bring over and the mascarpone as well.
Sekarang you pergi suruh dia orang pegang surface pula. I know. Thank you. I love you.
Alright, thank you. Alright, so if you see the Elle Vire, we have the Excellence whipping cream here. You want that?
Yeah, just as he's talking, just go, it's fine.
Yep. So, why do we see the excellence here? Crème excellence 35%. Alright, all whipping cream to whip, you usually have to have at least 35% of fat. Alright. So with the excellence, you will see there is two kinds. One is whipping and one is cooking. Okay. Whipping cream is lighter. It has minimum stabilizers. If you look at other brands, you may see a long list of ingredients in the cream itself. But for excellence, you'll see that it has very little ingredients at the end of the end here. You see, there's cow's milk cream thickener, which is carrageenan gum, and that's it. If you look at other brands, I mean, we are all of a health conscious market. To produce healthier products, always look at the back and what the produce or what the product has in its ingredients. You will only see about 4 ingredients inside Elle Vire whipping cream. Hence, it's very fresh, it's very light, and you have a whipping U of at least 3 times. So every liter you whip, you have 3 liters in U. How do we measure it? Is we put inside a jug. You see 1 liter when you measure, and you whip it up, it will expand. Because of air incorporation, you come up to about 3 liters. 2.7 to 3 liters usually, right? So excellence, you have the whipping, you have the cooking. Cooking is of higher stability. If you include any acid into it, you are making a lemon sauce, you know, and stuff like that. And excellence cream comes from the region of Normandy. Okay? If it's without excellence, like the Advantage, which is our lighter cooking cream, 16%, that is cream that is brought out from all over in France. All Elle Vire products are made in France only. Alright? And then we have the mascarpone. The mascarpone that you have with other brands that you have used before, maybe like Tatua or Gabbani, they tend to be much harder or has been aged a little more. So with the Elle Vire Tetra Pak, that is why it is in HOI. It is because that we don't have it in 500 grams or 250 grams. So you may think that it's a lot. So with the mascarpone, it's made with French dairy as well. It is lighter because it's in Tetra Pak. It has a much longer shelf life. Other brands you may see that it has only about 2 months or 3 months at most. But all in all, with the mascarpone from Elle Vire, you have 9 months for mascarpone, which is amazing technology that has been done for it. So with the mascarpone, it is amazing that it comes out in a very thick form, like just now the crème brûlée. So right now you say, hey, why is the mascarpone a bit on the lighter side? It is because that you can whip it to stiffen it up. So you can actually control the consistency of any products that you are producing. Because usually mascarpone, you have to lighten it down. You have to add some cream, make it a bit soft to bring it down to the texture you want. But this one is the reverse side of it. It's softer, it's lighter, you whip it up, and then it stiffens as you whip more and more. So almost like whipping cream like that. There's something that we don't have in here. It's called a sublime. Maybe in future there will be next year. Sublime is actually a combination of these two. Okay, some of you all have made like chantilly and stuff like that with the stabilization or with using gelatin. But sublime you do not need because it's a combination of both. It is very stable. But when it comes to stable, of course you cannot compare it with non-dairy whipping cream. Non-dairy whipping cream has no dairy at all. Okay, but this one is 100% dairy. So that is our whole range. You have the excellence whipping, excellence cooking, maybe sometime in future. You have the Advantage like 16%, and then you have the sublime 36.5% for whipping.
Wah,
and cooking. So for mascarpone, or for cheeses range, you have the mascarpone cheese, which is you usually use for tiramisu. Then we have the cream cheese as well, that you'll see in the box outside. So the cheesecake that you tasted today, the chilled cheesecake and the baked cheesecake, is all made with the French cream cheese. Okay, cream cheese, as you all may know, you have all other brands, and all these brands will have different origins. Some are from Australia, some are from New Zealand, some are from Europe, Denmark, Belgium and whatnot, but Elle Vire, still the French part of it. So it has a very savory, light, slightly acidic taste to it, hence a very balanced flavor. So Chef Arief has prepared a chilled and baked cheesecake today with no vanilla, is it? So that you can actually taste the as natural as the cheese can be. All right. Right. So, and then after that, we have also the butters. You have the salted and unsalted. Butters across will usually be 82%. Salted is 80% because of the inclusion of 2% salt into the butter itself. All right. I have a fun fact, or before I say the fact, that will be a fun question. How many liters of milk? Okay, for 1 liter of cream, how much milk do you use to produce 1 liter of cream? Can anybody tell? Sorry? To produce 1 liter of cream, how much milk do you need?
I heard it's like 24 liters. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, you're not entitled.
Sorry.
Anybody can know? So it gives you a perception of why cream is expensive. All right, milk, dairy is on the rise. Nobody cannot deny the fact that butter increases over time. Okay, with the more prestigious the brand, of course, the higher the cost will be. But therefore, again, when you're using for business, it depends what kind of target market you're at. If you're targeting higher end customers, of course, you use better ingredients as well. You take 20 liters to make 1 liter of cream, of milk, to get 1 liter of cream.
Yeah, 24.
24, depending, because why? Milk has different fat content. All right. Milk that is produced during the winter months is higher in fat. Therefore, I will bring my next topic into the butter sheet that you see at HOI later. The butter sheet for croissant is 84%. Then you ask me, why 84 not 82? Butter is all 82 one, right? Hence, the milk produced during winter, it has a higher percentage of fat. Why? Because there is no grass in Europe during winter times. What they feed on? Hay, maize. They need to fatten up the cow to keep them warm, correct or not? If not, they die of of the winter freeze. Hence, like what Chef Arief said, you make a variation. If you have the milk, okay, that is produced by the cow in Malaysia with this kind of weather,
Cannot make cream.
that one becomes skim milk, I don't know lah. Low fat milk, no fat, like come out watery, right? Okay, so it really depends. Okay, so why butter is so expensive today? Because it takes 40 liters to make 1 kilo of butter. 40 kilos of milk to 1 kilo of butter. 40 kilos of milk, depending on fat as well. All right. Okay, so that comes to perception. Why butter so expensive? If you look at 1 liter of milk, 5-6 ringgit, depending what you're buying. Farmhouse 9-10 ringgit today. If I take 40 liters to make 1 kilo of butter, how much your butter will cost? Correct or not? But of course, it's impossible for you to make into that because the milk that you get, okay, it has already gone through pasteurization and everything. Hence, you have the salted butter, you have the unsalted butter as well. For today's demonstration with the sablé and everything, chef has used unsalted butter because the recipe calls for salt. For me, dessert itself, you need to have balance. Not everything is just sweet. Even if you eat like the sablé cookies, there's a bit of saltiness in it, maybe a bit of sea salt, and stuff like mountain sea salt. Hence, in professional kitchens, we always use unsalted butter, as we can flavor and manipulate the savouriness of the dessert product. Salted butter, you can use it for your daily purposes. Of course, you can use it for baking as well if the recipe calls for it. It has an inclusion of 2% of salt already. All right, and then you see the butter sheet outside, the 84% butter sheet. It comes in 1 kilo. You can separate it. Sorry? Sorry, any question? GI. You can say so to a certain extent. But for the 84% butter sheet, if those who are and then he uses elevate.
Okey, tadi dah tengok kan chef kita ada buat demo live. So, siapa rasa macam teringin sangat nak rasa, boleh datang ke HOI pukul 2 hingga pukul 4 nanti untuk sesi kedua. Dia rasa kita punya inilah food tech kan. Nanti kita akan jelaskan barang-barang promo untuk hari ini, apa yang barang promo untuk barang Elle Vire. So, siapa rasa macam ada masa, boleh datang ke HOI, boleh datang pukul 2 hingga pukul 4 nanti. Kalau kita dah nak habis demo lah. So, jumpa lagi nanti pukul 2. Okey, jumpa lagi berdua. Okey, bye. Dengan saya Yana dan kawan saya Ten. Bye. Itu saja dah.
Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur.
OK， 好了，我们第一堂课程就到这边尾声了。我是婷婷啊，你们 like 了吗？你们分享了吗？如果你们刚刚老师分享的东西全部都是
Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique,
OK， 不好意思，刚听不到，所以我再次了解一下，你们先点赞分享出去，所以你就会得到我们的今天的这个直播，你可以保留回去再看回去老师跟今天做的这两道产品，然后呢，你也可以私聊我们 PM 我们，然后我们就会给你们的老师的食谱，如果你们没有看到的话啦，如果不方便来到现场你们可以就是拿到我们的食谱了，点赞分享 ，OK， 然后私聊我们，我们会分享我们的食谱给你们，然后今天我们也是有我们的这个今天的优惠，我们今天优惠是什么呢？你买够全部这个 Elle Vire 的这个产品，你买够120块，我们会送你这个 cheese cutter， 只有送而已，这个 cheese cutter OK 120块，所以我们就会有送这个 cheese cutter。你买够100块，我们会送这个 cutter， 或者是这个 epiter。也是一样，有这个 Elle Vire 的这个牌子，这个 epiter 和这个 cutter， 这个是 round cutter 咯。所以刚才你们老师做的饼干啊，或者是你要做那个croissant 你都可以用到的这个 cutter。然后你买够80块，我们送你这个它的这个 piping bag， hygiene 的 piping bag。所以有这个 Elle Vire 的这个 piping bag， 这个一卷里面有50张的，所以现在接近要过年了，所以很多人也是会做很多的那个New Year的 cookies，所以这个很好用。OK， so 我们现在就到现在为止 我们就到此为止。所以待会我们再见了，你们别走开，记得2点到4点我还有第2场的直播，我们待会见，拜拜。
Vous savez, un bon pâtissier n'est rien sans les meilleurs produits. Je vais vous livrer mon secret. Ça se passe ici, en France, en Normandie. Avec la pluie qui tombe un peu tous les jours, les vaches broutent une herbe bien verte. Dans ces conditions idéales, et grâce à son savoir-faire crémier unique, Elle Vire vous offre le meilleur.